It wasn't without drama, but the Idaho legislature has agreed on over $100 million in property tax relief for Idahoans. It's a priority for residents, and it's been a priority for the governor as well, who vetoed the lawmakers' first attempt, only to be outdone in an override veto by both houses. But this bill wasn't necessarily a win for everybody. Critics claim it puts Idaho schools in a tough spot, and it still isn't quite clear what the actual impact will be on homeowners. Governor Little told Joe Paris the relief should be meaningful, even if he didn't quite get all what he wanted out of it.
There's new property tax relief on the way in Idaho. Republicans pushed through a package that is set to send $117 million in relief to Idahoans. Governor Brad Little originally vetoed the idea, identifying issues within the legislation that would compromise crucial transportation projects as well as funding for Idaho public defenders. Legislative maneuvers addressed those, so Little this week went from saying veto to very good. Still, he believes the original idea was a hodgepodge.
It should have been simple. It was $120 million for property tax, but it was a 25-page bill, and that's until we teased out all the problems with it. And the legislature and I have been working really hard to have an ongoing source of funds to address these critical road needs for our congestion in Idaho and particularly here in the Treasure Valley, and it jeopardized that. In essence, this week we were going to issue bonds. We couldn't have done that until I vetoed that bill, but then they fixed it later.
So is all's well that ends well, or I guess do you have some
problems?
Yeah,
but it's if you don't have to watch the sausage being made is the answer.
And I know critics of the legislation are worried about this March election day that goes away. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's too far?
Well, I do. I mean, I said that was one of the positions, but I didn't get that. That's one of the few things that I brought up that I didn't get. But the issue is going to be, what are we going to do for one school district that has a specific problem and they need to address that problem and their patrons all agree on it and they vote for it, versus having a one solution fits all for every school district? Because we've got fast growing school districts, we got slow growing, we got districts where they got lots of commercial and retail property, we got districts where it's mainly resort property. That's why the school districts need some flexibility in how they fund their schools.
I know that folks will watch this interview this evening and they'll just say, that's great that you and the governor are talking, but at the end of the day, what does this mean for me and my family? Will we see real property loss for me?
Oh yeah.
What would you say to the people of Idaho?
Well, and it's that close to what I proposed. And also next year, you know, Channel 7 reports on it all the time. We see the prices of houses going down. If the price of your assessed valuation of your house goes down, your property taxes are going to go around commensurate with that. So this property tax relief, on top of the other things we've done, we're paying for roads, we're paying for sewer, we're paying for water, we're adding significant more money to schools for teacher pay, for bus drivers, for insurance. All of those things your property taxes are paying for. So this $113, $120 million ongoing, plus there's all the other things we're doing, there is going to be a reduction in, unless you're in a real special area. But for the most part, everybody will get property tax relief next year.
I was going through your State of the State speech late yesterday, this morning, and it looks like to me, I mean, you've checked off a lot of the boxes. I mean, you got to be pretty pleased with this first run.
We are. It was, you know, I won't sugarcoat it, getting overridden in a veto, but as I said, all the things I objected to, with the exception of the March date, I got.
So things look okay?
Yeah,
all right.
That's right.
So down at that State House, things are winding down and lawmakers should be done very, very soon. Could even be done today, Brian, but we'll likely find out tomorrow. If they're probably going to wrap up tomorrow. If they wrap up today, then we know they're done today. But wanted to mention, we said just in our legislative segment on the 208 yesterday that there was some new legislation coming down the pike that would have kind of looked at drag shows or sexual exhibitions. Those were introduced at 8 o'clock this morning, but it was made very clear they're not going anywhere this session. They were a combination of ideas that have been floated throughout the year. So we'll probably see that again next January.
That one's not going anywhere. Any of the drag stuff's not going anywhere. The initiative bill failed today, but there was success when it comes to the human trafficking part of taking a minor across the state to get an abortion in another state. That did pass and is headed to the governor's desk.
And that was heated debate over in the Idaho House where it did pass by a comfortable margin. But yeah, the abortion trafficking set to go to the governor.
All right. Thanks, Joe.